Everyone's doing well. Welcome to the Atilus webinar. Today we will be speaking about COVID-19 opportunities for small and medium-sized businesses. And the webinar is hosted by Harry Casimir, the CEO of Atilus. I'll let him give his own introduction.
Hi, as Jen said, my name is Harry Casimir. I'm the founder and CEO of Atilus and board marketing boards.
And then there's me, and I am the director of sales here at Atilus.
Right.
And I think the perfect way to start off this webinar is talking about how Atilus as a company is responding to COVID-19, and I'll let Harry take this one and just give an explanation of, what we've been doing as a team, as a company overall, in response to this crisis.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you, Jen. So as Jen mentioned, how we're responding as a company, we have been very fortunate that from the get-go, from the early on, we have been a remote company. So we have a team that work remote all the time, so it wasn't a transition for us per se. There were a few members in the team that struggled not being able to come to the office when they want as they please, but we all work remote, so we did not have a lot of problem to get to transition to fully remote. So the second that happened in early March, we all moved remote. And we have been working remote, and as of today, we have not missed a day that we are not up to par and continue to provide the full service to our clients. And we have clients throughout the country and the United States, so we serve our clients as normal. So we hope to continue to provide the same level of services, if not even a better service, because we're trying to get things as fast as we can for our clients in these difficult times, because we do understand. So we have been trying also putting resources available for our clients on our website so that they can find the information that they're looking for and where we know it can be helpful. I don't know, Jen, if you want to shine in anything on that topic.
No, you covered it perfectly. We'll go on to the next slide. And in today's webinar, we will discuss how you as a small business owner can take advantage of the many resources that are actually available to you during this crisis. And we will also share some essential tips on how you can stay ahead during this crisis. And part of those tips is, working from home. So the transition from actually going to an office to working from home, and things that we do here internally at Atilus that might be able to help you. And then we'll go over some marketing essentials that you should be focusing on during this crisis. And to start, the resources that are available to you, there are actually several online resources such as company blogs, webinars, and podcasts aimed to help you through this pandemic. We actually are starting a series of podcasts and webinars and have already published quite a few blogs relating to COVID-19 and some resources, educational resources that can help you through this pandemic. And to start, we're going to start off with working from home. So tips for your small, medium-sized business. And we'll try to help you adjust and share tips that we do here at Atilus when we work from home. And I know Harry has, quite a few tips that he would like to share too. For starters, I think it's really beneficial and helpful, setting up a workplace. If you have a dedicated space in your home, an office, a desk, or even, a guest bedroom where you can set up a guest or a desk, I think that's super helpful, super beneficial, and it'll help you stay on track and increase productivity. It doesn't help if you use, a couch or your bed as your workspace. So for starters, make sure you have a dedicated desk work area. That is my number one tip. And Harry, do you have anything to add to setting up a workspace?
Yes, actually, again, as Jen said, it doesn't really matter where your workspace is, but set it up so that way you feel at home, at work, the way you should be. But I know for many companies that just move remote, it's not an option for you guys. I think work must be continued. But to ensure that that happen is to make sure you're in the best state of mind, and not having a workspace that dedicated to work can be very difficult. So that is why our number one suggestion is to ensure that you have a workspace that's dedicated to your work. Even every now and then you might kind of take if you use a laptop, you might move around with it, but you always have that workstation that you go back to concentrate. So that would be my number one tip.
And a secondary tip that we have as well is stick to a schedule. It's really important that, you wake up at a certain time and you schedule out your calendar and you stick to that. Whether it's, 9 a.m. till 11 a.m., you're responding to emails. Make sure you have a schedule and you stick to it and you don't, veer off that schedule. So that's tip number 2. Harry, do you have anything to add to sticking to a schedule?
I agree. Sticking to schedule, I know at this time around, it can be challenging. Let's put it that way. But one thing that helped me personally, and that was way before this, is I find on Sunday night, I usually take time to compile all my to-dos for the week, everything that I need to do. And the way I structure them is typically I might have like 10, 15 things, but I put them in priority. And let's say I know I need to get 3 things done tomorrow, Monday. I concentrate on those 3 things, and try to get them done. And anything else I get done is just a bonus for the day. Mm-hmm. I find that really, really helpful. The other thing that I find that's really helpful as well is make sure you have those things in your calendar. The thing with calendar, it helps remind you, but also get you focused, knowing that at 9 a.m. you get to be in a specific place. So keep that in mind when you are about to, before you start working, make sure you have your schedule locked down.
Perfect.
That would be my tip.
And another helpful tip is, try to limit your screen time and also background noise. Just because you don't have the rest of the team around you doesn't mean you should be checking, social media every 5 minutes or blasting TV in the background, because those are huge, huge distractors. And I think the more that you try to keep a similar routine that you've had in, your office environment, the more successful that you will be overall. All right, so utilizing digital tools. And here internally at Atilus, we use a few digital tools to make all of our operations and communication when working from home as easy and seamless as possible. And a few tools that we utilize here at Atilus internally that we'll go over in more depth and more detail. So hopefully you can utilize, tools that are similar in nature too. One of those is Slack. And Slack is a communication tool that basically allows our team to instantly message back and forth and also keep communication going throughout the entire day. And with Slack, you can set up channels specific to projects or topics, and you can keep all of your communications organized. And you can also make calls or video chats through Slack too. And Slack, in comparison, is very similar to Skype. So you don't have to use Slack. It's just something we use here internally at Atilus. You can use Skype, and there's so many other softwares that are similar in nature too that would, potentially work better for you. There's just a few options here. Harry, do you have anything to add on?
Yes, and to add to Slack, Yes, to add to Slack, one of the reasons we use Slack also is many times, although we use Zoom, for example, but Slack has a fully integrated part of the project, so it's fully connected with our project management system and our CRM. So within Slack, notifications are pushed to the team, to the respective team member based on the project. So there's a lot of different things we can do. But also, obviously, with so many tools out there, it's all depend on what you want to accomplish with the tools. For example, we use Zoom whenever we have either a team meeting that's the whole team need to be on it, that does not require Slack. We use Zoom for that. Whenever there is a sales presentation, I know Jen can elaborate a little bit on that. We use Zoom, so there's a lot of different tools out there that can make your remote life easier. So
Yes, 100%. And Zoom, definitely, Harry, Zoom's a great tool. And even from a sales standpoint, for me, we can't have those in-person meetings anymore like we've been used to. So I've resorted to using Zoom conference calls to have those remote meetings, both with, potential prospects and existing clients here internally. And what I like about Zoom is, you can share your screen. You can also share your camera and your video. So it's like you're in a meeting in person with, the other individual on the other side. So it's really nice. It's still very personable in my opinion, and a great digital tool that, we've been using. Something similar, you have WebEx, you have GoToMeeting. Again, there's other resources out there. Zoom is just something that we use here internally. Another amazing digital tool that we utilize is RingCentral. So RingCentral basically allows you to get phone calls remotely, and it forwards directly to your phone, and you can actually transfer calls directly from your phone to other people within your company too. So it's a really nice software. It's been easy for us with the transition. We actually switched from Comcast to RingCentral, and I think it's been, a blessing ever since.
I agree. And then to add to what Jen said, all of those tools that we mentioned here is more of what are some of the key things. How do you bring all of this together? Again, one of the things that we offer and what we're trying to do for all of our clients, as I sent an email last couple weeks ago to all of our clients, we tell them if you need help with those tools, we have been around those tools for a long time. We'll be more than happy to jump on a phone call with you, give any advice or suggestions we can. Obviously, we're not an IT company, we don't set up hardware, but we understand software a bit. So if we know of the software, we can give you any advice. We'll be more than happy to do so. Or if not, we can direct you to the right person that will be able to help you. So with all those tools, again, we just mentioned just a few, but there are a ton of them out there. If you have any questions, please feel free to let us know. We'll be more than happy to help.
Perfect. Yeah, as Harry mentioned, we completely understand that many of you guys are facing, difficult times, and just know that we are here to help. And if your company has recently made this transition, from working in an office space to working remote, as Harry mentioned, feel free to give us a call. We're here to help. And next, we're going to go over marketing essentials to focus on during this crisis. And what I found to be extremely beneficial to, our clients and then other, small and medium-sized businesses is there are many resources available to you during this difficult time. And two of which, Google and Facebook actually announced that they're going to be giving away small business ad credits, which is absolutely amazing. So we will go in depth on that here in a little bit. We're also going to discuss the importance of keeping your Google My Business page up to date. And then also we're going to cover 3 things you can actually do right now to get more from your website. And to jump back into, the Google and Facebook ad credits, we'll go into this in more depth And what's really nice, as I mentioned before, specifically with Google recently announced at the beginning of the month that they're going to give away roughly $800 million to support businesses, small and medium-sized businesses, which is phenomenal. And it's aimed for current users. So you have to have an existing account with Google, and it has to be active since 2019. And I believe also that it can be used throughout all of 2020. It can be used on any campaign type, but it has to be specific with Google. So you can't go to another network. You have to utilize it within Google. And like I mentioned before, you have to have an active account since 2019. And Google mentioned that we'll start to notice notifications in our client ad accounts or even your own personal ad accounts when those grants or when those funds will actually be coming in, which is really nice. So if you're an existing Atilus client, just know that our team will let you know as soon as we get another update when those, ad credits will be applied to your account.
Yes, and also one of the things that you keep in mind, even if you are not working with an agency at the moment, as long as you have an account, you are eligible to receive the credits. But one of the things that you might want to take advantage as well, even if you're not, if you're already working with an agency, just in case they haven't notified you about those opportunities, make sure you let them know that you are interested in making sure you get the credits for the Google ads. As long as you meet the requirements, I believe everyone should try to take advantage of this, because I know this is a difficult time and every little bit counts. So make sure you take advantage of it, whether it's your own account that you set up for yourself or you have an agency you are working with that's taking care of your ads for you.
Yes, and like I mentioned before, as we start to see, our own client accounts, those funds, get administered to those accounts, we'll jump out in front of it and let you guys know. And then to jump into the Facebook ad credits, Facebook also announced at the beginning of the month that they're giving away roughly $100 million to help small businesses, and this includes, ad credits and cash grants. And if you're interested in more information on Facebook specifically, I would recommend going to facebook.com/business/boost and then /grants. We have a blog post already on our Atilus, website that has more of this information in detail. If you want further information, Harry and I would be more than happy to send you that link that I just mentioned. But specifically Facebook, they announced that they're going to give away the small business grant programs, which is phenomenal. And, I'm sure a very popular question that you guys have is, are you eligible? So who is eligible? And roughly up to 30,000 eligible small businesses in more than 30 countries. And some of those qualifications, in order to be eligible to apply, you must be a for-profit company. You must have between 2 and 50 employees and have been in business for over a year, and also experience challenges from COVID-19, and then be in or near a location where Facebook operates. And again, the link that I gave you, and we'll share this if you want more information, is we can give you the link to apply directly to. So if you're interested in more information, we'd be more than happy to share that with you.
Yes, again, as Jen mentioned, those two opportunities, both in Google and Facebook, the opportunity to provide here to help businesses, I think it's great. It is important that everyone who can, as long as you qualify, you should try to take advantage of those, because these are credits that are available that can be added to your account. Just keep in mind, one of the questions we saw even on forums is that are those are the credit that would be given directly to me or personally. No, those credit would be added to your ad account, which from there you can spend it. There won't be, I don't think Google are going to hand out cash. It's just more of credit to your account to continue advertising in the platform, the same as for Facebook as well, where the credit will be added to your ad account.
And again, you have to have an active account as well too. So you can't be new to Facebook advertising and expect to have, free money dangling in your account when you sign up. You have to be active. So what we are trying to tell our clients too is, don't pause your Google PPC campaigns right now. Don't pause your Facebook advertising accounts right now. If anything, reduce your ad spend budget, but do not pause, your overall marketing services right now. And next, we're going to jump into the importance of keeping your Google My Business page up to date, which is one of my favorite topics. And basically, Google My Business is really important now more than ever, simply because when users are going online to search for your business or search for your company, the first thing they're going to see is your Google My Business local listing. And what's really important right now is making sure that you're updating your hours of operation, that you're ensuring all the information on your Google My Business page is accurate and up to date. And what's important here is if you're a restaurant especially, and you've adjusted, instead of dine-in, you're doing takeout and delivery only, you need to update that on your Google My Business page, as well as hours of operation. If you're limiting your hours to, say a full day to a half day, you need to let your customers and users know, what you're doing and the changes to your business. And I think, again, now more so than ever, it's important to take 5 minutes, 10 minutes out of your day, check your local listing, make sure your Google My Business page is updated. If you do not have a Google My Business page yet, our team, Atilus, can help you out with that. It's really important from a search standpoint, and also, really important during this pandemic. And as I mentioned before, to manage your Google My Business profile, make sure you're updating your business information, make sure, you have the right location, make sure that you're putting the services that you're offering, and keep posting. Something that, we tell our clients and that I always, talk to prospects about, which people fail to do, is treat your Google My Business page as another social media channel. So the content that you're pushing out to, say Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all the, social channels that are out there, there's many of them. Make sure you're taking that content and you're publishing it and pushing it out on Google My Business too. You can continue to post on Google My Business, and as long as you're pushing content, that'll help you during this crisis. And we're going to jump into 3 things to do to get more from your website. And this overall is what we think you should be doing right now during this crisis while you have, some downtime. If you have downtime, it's really important to focus on your website and make sure that you're doing everything you can to be prepared, and also to continue to get traffic, to continue to get sales through the door. So we'll dive into this next. So a few things that you can be doing right now is, tip number 1, start writing blogs. Content is king. Rule of thumb, there really is no rule of thumb for, overall, word count. I would say roughly, 500 words to 1,000 is the average when it comes to writing blogs, but making sure that you're still putting content on your website, keeping it fresh is really important right now. And Harry, do you have anything to add to, writing blogs, keeping your website fresh, making sure that content is, constantly being updated?
Yes, and one of the things that I found very critical to do is not overthinking it. Content can be very difficult sometimes to write, especially in this difficult time where everything is going like crazy. But take a step back and just write. Start writing about basically anything that you can think of from your business perspective. Now, there are some strategic things that you can do when you write your content, from making sure you get the proper keywords and proper formatting for the blog, so that when search engine index it can be properly indexed. But all that's just secondary to the content itself. Content is king, as you may have heard, and it will continue to be so. And if anything, it would even be more so when it comes to expert content. So you are the expert in your business. You know what to write about. So if you have the opportunity right now, just do so. And if you don't, make sure whoever is writing the content for you is able to speak to the voice that you would like to put that information out there. This is also the good time right now to ensure that the content on your website, from the About Us page to the products or services that you are offering, all of them are up to date, to ensure that when the customer comes to your website, the information that you are giving out is what is very relevant to the current time. So this is a chance at this point. So the way I look at this, and then we're gonna go into a little bit more detail in SEO, but this is the time that after this pandemic pass, it will eventually, you want to come out on top from an SEO perspective, from your digital marketing perspective, from your website. All that should be top of mind right now, so that when this thing is over, your website is ready to fly. Mm-hmm. So that's what I would say when it comes to writing.
And something to add to, the blogs itself, the content that you're pushing out there, it doesn't have to be specifically related to COVID-19 at all. Make sure that the content is related to the services or products that you offer, and think about your customers or users right now and maybe the information that they would like to see on your website. So that's how you can come up with some creative content ideas, around that specifically. And as Harry mentioned, in another webinar, we'll go into SEO in more depth. But when it comes to SEO, writing blogs is just a really, really, really small piece of that pie. And what we always, tell our clients is writing blogs is extremely helpful long-term and overall too. You're not going to see results, after you publish one blog or two blogs or three blogs. Basically, it takes time, and I would see results. We tend to see results within, 6 months of having, a specific content strategy in place. And sometimes it takes longer than 6 months, but just know that search engine optimization, when you're doing that through content writing, it does take time. It's not immediate, but it's worth it. It's worth it in the end. And another tip that we have to add to is respond to contact forms in a timely fashion. Now more so than ever too, it's really important, if you have the time, that you're improving your response rate, that you're actually getting back to your clients' questions and needs in a timely fashion. And if you notice that, comments are coming through or contact forms are being submitted, prospects are, submitting contact forms on the website, make sure you're getting back to them within 24 hours.
Great.
And then tip number 3, read and respond to comments on your blog. And this also goes for, social media in general as well. You have the time, make sure you're going through your social media platforms as well as the comments that, are, being generated on your blog posts, taking the time, going through maybe some of the questions that, users or even clients are asking, and taking the time to engage with them and connect with them, because it's very important to connect with your users and address, any support issues or questions or, feedback that they might have. And it could be both positive and negative. Just make sure that you're jumping in front of that right now.
I agree. Yes, absolutely. This is very critical, especially with this time around. All right.
Mm-hmm. And that's a wrap, guys. That's what we have for you for our very first webinar. We hope you enjoyed it. And as Harry and I mentioned, throughout this webinar, we will get more specific in the next ones to come. And right now, we want to leave it open to any questions that you might have based off of what we went over today. So the opportunities available to you as a small, medium-sized business in terms of the Facebook or Google ad grants, any questions relating to Google My Business, updating your Google My Business page, the importance of it. And, just let's open the floor for any questions. And Harry and I'd be more than happy to get those addressed. If you don't have any questions right now, feel free to shoot us an email or give us a phone call, and we'll get those addressed right away.
Fantastic.
Okay, the first question we have, how can I stay updated on Google News? So what's really important and what we've done as an agency, and I know other individuals, other companies are different, but what we've done is we always try to stay at the forefront of the latest tech trends, the latest news, so that when our clients come to us, we are fully prepared and, getting those questions answered and actually jumping out in front of that for our clients. So what we try to do is we update all of our social platforms with, any news that we think would be beneficial or important or educational to our clients, even prospects. So make sure, you're actively following Atilus on all social channels. And something we jump out in front of too is when there's an important news topic or there's something changing in the online arena, we blog about it. So if you're not already following our blog content, I would recommend doing so, because a lot of the information we put out there is a resource for, small and medium-sized businesses like you. It's not salesy, it's educational and informative, and we do that, to help you.
Okay. Yeah, so as Jen mentioned, just with almost every news stuff that's coming out, what we'll do, we looked at it. Sometimes, most of the time, we test it in-house ourselves, and then and put it out there as a resource from an educational perspective on our website. So we will keep you guys posted when it comes to those ad credits.
Perfect. And then the secondary question we have is, do you know when Google ad credits will be applied to the accounts? Unfortunately, Google has not announced when the ad credits will be applied to the accounts, but that's something that we're actively monitoring. And as I mentioned before, we'll jump out in front of it for our clients. As soon as those get administered to all of our client accounts that are active, we will let you know as soon as that happens. And we will also make recommendations on how to utilize that ad credit throughout 2020. So that's something that, you'll hear directly from us. If you don't have an agency monitoring your account, if you're not working with an agency and, you have an individual account that, you're pushing yourself, I would recommend, going in your account and checking your notifications and making sure that, Google is updating you, because that's something that they do often on a daily basis too. If something changes, they will actually put a notification in your account. So it's important, if not daily, at least do it, weekly, to go in there and make sure that, your ad account or the ad credits have not been administered yet.
And also, one of the things that I find that could be very useful, I know Google itself has their blog that dedicated to pay-per-click advertising. So you can subscribe to that blog so you can get all the latest, because that's where they put all of the first announcement. So even sometime before they push it in the PR world, they actually publish blog posts about that specific thing. So when those credits are start to be rolling out on people's account, I'm pretty sure the first place they're gonna announce that is in their blog post.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a chance, you can subscribe to Google's blogs as well.
And as marketers, that's one of the tools that we use to stay at the forefront of those updates is, subscribing to their blog posts, because as Harry mentioned, before it gets announced and before other agencies are going to blast it, they actually post it directly to their own, blog, and they try to update their users first. And then that's when basically all the other agencies grab that information and then share it worldwide.
All right.
Any other questions? But I think that's all we have for today in terms of questions.
All right. Well, this has been fantastic, Jen, and that was well put. And as Jen mentioned, if you would like to get in touch with us, I know this is a difficult time for everyone, but we'd be more than happy to see what we can do and help you in whatever way we can. And so just feel free to give us a call here, either email Jen or me, and I'll go to our website to see some of the resources we are putting out there. Jen, any closing thought?
Yeah, just, thank you for sharing your time, and thank you for listening to our very first webinar. As Harry mentioned, you'll see our phone number is right there, 239-362-1271. And feel free to email Harry at Atilus.com, or Jen at Atilus.com, and we'll get back to you in a timely manner as well. And also what Harry mentioned is check out our website, to get these resources that were discussed. We already have blog content out there. Go to our website, check out our blog, check out our social media platforms, follow us for the latest and greatest. And again, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.